Good morning, friends. It's Nancy, and I am starting a new journal this morning. It's Saturday morning, and I have been missing in action all week. I've had a bad knee, and just haven't been in the basement since Monday. I think Monday morning was the last time I made it down the stairs. So, it's been a crafting hiatus, to say the least. So I'm starting this new journal, and I've already gutted the book, and now I'm reinforcing the spine. It's going to be another big one. I had so much fun doing that big Queen Victoria journal that I was dithering this morning trying to choose between two books, and so I decided to go with this one, and it is 8.5 inches tall. The spine is 2.5 inches. I'm probably, I think I'm going to say probably 6.25. So it's not the monstrosity that Queen Victoria was, but she's a big one too. Just making sure I'm taking off any paper that's not really glued on there very well, because I don't want to stick my end papers to, something's going to turn into dust. I'm not going to worry about peeling too much off, though, because it's, I want to say 1906. So 119 years. If it's lasted this long, it can go another lifetime, I'm sure. So I've torn a piece of fabric, and I'm going to reinforce the spine with that and some gel medium. Recently I've been using masking tape to reinforce my spines. I don't have any masking tape, and I have not been out. I have not been shopping. I've been to work. But anyway, so my knee, it's huge. It's just huge. And so I got it looked at on Thursday, and they were able to get me in for an ultrasound that afternoon to make sure it wasn't a blood clot. It isn't. It's fine. I'm not gonna expire anytime too soon from a swollen knee. But there's fluid on it, and that's a term I haven't heard for a long time. Water on the knee. That's an oldie but a goodie. So I have to get some blood work done. I haven't got that done yet. I tried to get it done yesterday, but I had back-to-back clients, and when I went over to the lab, they were lined up out the door. Everybody trying to get their blood work done before the weekend, I guess. Okay. Let's get some gel medium here. Anyway, I do have arthritic knees, so it's probably just inflamed for that reason. But it isn't pretty. Probably good I use this up anyway. I've had it for a long time. No big plans this weekend. I think I will work in here this morning and then probably spend the rest of my day with my leg in the air. But you know, when you're used to crafting every day, it is difficult to take a break. I've been reading what did I finish last night? I think it was called The Lost Wife of Prague. And it takes place during World War II. Seems to be the period of time I'm interested in right now. We've had some beautiful spring weather. Just about all the snow is gone. Calling for thunderstorms this morning. And I think so. Yesterday we had when I came home from work, the temperature was 15, which is that's 60 in Fahrenheit. And today they're calling for a high of 17. Doesn't mean we can't have more winter. We don't want to have more winter, but doesn't mean that we can't have another blast of snow and blow. As I say, nothing too exciting going on here. Hard to get into too much trouble when you're flat on your back with your knee in the air. Okay, I'm going to flip this over so I can show you the cover. So the book is called Canada, painted by T. Mower Martin, described by Wilfred Campbell. And it is chock full of art. So all of these pages are reproductions of paintings. These ones are all horizontal landscape. Yeah, that's right. And then these ones are all portrait. So not as many portrait orientation as there is the landscape orientation. So these ones are going back in the journal. There's this fantastic map that was, it's all crushed in the back of the book, so I have to press that. And I kept the title page, but it's not my favorite. It has a very Art Nouveau look to it. Where is it? There. So all the words are crammed up there into the top. So that's very, very turn of the century kind of style. And not my favorite, but I might figure out a way to use it. There's some a poem I'm going to keep. And yeah, so these pages are going back into the journal. I need to clean my brush, and we'll come back and do a little more. All right, I've got my template that I will be stitching my signatures to, and I generally do between 4 and 5 millimeters between each signature line. This one I went for a solid 1/4 of an inch, and I was sure to leave enough room in the space between the book and the template. So that's about a good 1/8 of an inch. And that way, when the spine gets seated in there, remember this is going to be a hollow back spine. It won't be glued to the spine, but it'll be seated in there. Then this is just going to close very nicely. All right, I've torn a bunch of pieces of, I think this is painter's paper actually, into 1/2 inch strips, because I don't want to use washi tape to put my pages together. So some of these pages need to be put together. So this is a poem. This is the author's note. And this is the title page. And then there's a dedication there to the Governor General of Canada. That old camera turned off again, so I'm not sure. I won't know until I do the edits what actually is there and what's not. So what I've done is chosen all of the art that I want to use. Then I ran a bead of art glitter glue between the tissuey piece and the stronger page that the art's on. And I need to glue 2 together. So I'm just putting my ruler there. And I have strips of, this is painter paper that I just tore into. Oh, I hear a goose flying by. I just tore into 1/2 inch strips, so I'm going to use some purple glue. And put that there. And I'll flip that over and grab another one. What have I done? Okay. So I don't want to glue on the tissue part. I want to glue on the stronger part. There we go. So that'll take me a minute to complete, but it's very much just a repeated action, so I won't bore you with this too much. Right, these are together, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. I have a tray of things that I've been saving. So I have a whole tray of Canadian themed things. I'm using almost none of it. It just doesn't match the feeling that I want to, what's the word? It's just not the right aesthetic. I do have, this is from an old geography book, I think from the 20s. And I have 3 double maps and some single maps. So the single maps will go in no problem. I'm probably going to want to reinforce that. I don't know. Maybe slightly. There's Northern Ontario. I have not been very far north. Probably Algonquin Park is probably the farthest I've ever been north. And this one is Nova Scotia. I've been all over Nova Scotia. But there's a tear there, so I want to repair that. I've got some old tape here. Here's one. This is some sticky tape that I've pulled off of something or other. There we are. And okay, so this is a double one. How much? Ooh, I liked this one. It has the time zones and what have you. I do like that. And probably not that one. But let's see how much we can trim this down. So 8 5/8 is our maximum. So basically, if I take 1/2 inch off each end, then that will work. Well, if I cut right to the border, that's going to be perfect. Because that's 8.5. And then I can just turn in those corners. It's going to be the same. Yep. This one's even smaller. How big are you? 8. So I can expand that a bit. These are the only 2 provinces that I've never visited. Saskatchewan and Manitoba. I've not been to any of the territories, so not Yukon, not Nunavut, or the Northwest Territory. But I've been to 8 provinces. All right, let me trim those out. So I have the 9 pages from the original book. You're never going to believe what I did. So this came from the back of the original text block, and it was all crunched up and folded and everything. I actually sprayed fabric finish on it, like a spray starch, and ironed it, and it's wonderful. It turned out really good. So I have that map and 8 pages from the geography book. So I'm starting to pull some other pages. I collected this Favorite Songs of Newfoundland, and the one I want is I's the Boy Who Builds the Boat. If you're Canadian, you remember singing that in public school. So this was 1967, that book. Now, how tall are we? Oh, we're almost 9 inches. I'm just gonna tear some there, and I'll cut some from the other side. Actually, it's not bad. I'll take a little zippity-doo-dah off. I want them to fit, but it's okay to have some different sizes just to lend some variety. Okay, how wide are you? Ooh, that's perfect. I think I'll ink that up before I do anything else. Because it's a little too white. I should save the page that has the other verses. So Doug, he hasn't been the last few months very much, but he used to play with a band called the Out of the Fog Boys. Something about fog, anyway. I've only seen them perform once because it happens after dark, and I don't go out after dark. And they're Newfoundlanders, and they do a lot of old jigs and popular Newfoundlander songs. I don't know if they do Eyes the Buy. Now, I know quite a few folks from Newfoundland. My daughter-in-law's from a tiny little fishing village in Newfoundland. But there's a huge population from Newfoundland locally. Yeah, that's going to be perfect. So I have a couple other music pages, and this is a page about the Arctic Circle. These I won't be using picture or book pages from. I actually have 2 of these ones, but I think there's some pictures I might use from here. Like this one. I might use that one. Might use that one. I doubt I'll use that. I might use that. To decorate something. These are Canadian artists, and their art has been shown on stamps. So some of these might look familiar. Here's a Tom Thompson. Yeah, it's not a great photo. Emily Carr. Well, maybe we'll keep Emily. We can always stick a picture of a pretty lady in. I think this one, that might have been a Christmas stamp. I have something else by Craig Hoff here, but I'm not going to use it in this journal. It's Niagara Falls. So I thought I would put that in my Niagara Falls journal that I plan to do someday. Don't. Well, that's interesting. All right. I can put those aside. So these I'll be making into some ephemera. Other pages. So I will be grabbing some old letters and invoices and tea-dyed papers and old vintage stuff. I should find those pages from the Canadian Wildflowers book. That's what I should look for. What else? I don't know. I'll just have myself a good time looking. Oh, and I found this too. It's these are stamps from the Canadian Centennial in 1967, and it has the stamps that have the provincial flowers, and then there's a few that aren't flowers. The rest are flowers. And I thought I might use these in a page somewhere, so I'll stick that back in plastic so I don't... Ooh, look at that tape. You just stay there, my friend. Because I can sure use you. All right. So, I think I'm calling it a day. I hope you thought this was an interesting start to a journal, and just found this old postcard from 1908. It has maple leaves on it. Kind of a boring postcard, but definitely something Canadian about that, isn't there? All right, you take care. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.